So now I have my tracker created and I want to give my first assessment through Mastery Connect to my students. Very easy to do. In my tracker, I'm going to select the assessment that I want to give. This is a multi-standard assessment, and I'll click Assess. Here I see all of the standards that are covered in this assessment. I can click on any one of these to see the breakdown of standards by question. I can take a look at the assessment. I can look at reports for any students who have already completed this assessment, a breakdown of scores, and notes. I can also look at my privacy settings for this assessment. Now, before I give my very first assessment, each assessment in Mastery Connect has some online tools similar to what you see on the map in EOC. And I can select some default tools so that they'll always be available for any of my assessments. And then the rest of them I can set on an assessment by assessment basis depending on if they need them or not. To do that, I'm going to go up here to Tools and Accommodations. I'm going to select which ones I want as my default tools. So I think flag, question, and highlight I want them to have for each one. The line reader and notepad I like for them to have for all of the assessments. Maybe strike through so they can strike out incorrect answer choices. But I'll leave the rest of these blank so that I can only use those for assessments that really need it. I'm going to apply to all assessments and hit Save. And I'll never have to set those defaults again. Those will always be there, but I can always go in and change them if I need to. All right, I have my default tools set up. I'm ready to give my assessment. So I'm just going to click on Assess, and it's going to take me to this Assess screen. Now you will have a different icon here. You will see something that says Push to Portal. That will allow you to push this assessment immediately out to all of your students in this class to their Clever portal. That is the easiest way to give this assessment. When you push that out to your students, every one of them will see it like this. When they log into Mastery Connect on their home screen, they will see the assessment, and they will simply be able to click Start Assessment and begin the assessment. Now, because I don't have that link because I'm using a fake account and it's not tied to SIS right now, I'm going to show you what the students will see when they take the assessment. So here's an ID code, and I could certainly go to googleclassroom.com and put in this link and the ID code and let them take it that way, but pushing it to their portal is the easiest way to give them the assessment. So I'm going to copy this test ID, and I'm going to go to studentmasteryconnect.com and paste in that ID. Put in my student ID. And again, students will be able to bypass all of this by using that push to portal. And then here's my assessment. So this is what the students see when they take the assessment. You can see it's very map-like. They can go through and answer questions. They have all of their tools right here. They can flag questions. They can add notes. They can use a line reader. And they can go through all of the questions. Now, as long as they just close out and do not click Finish and Submit, Mastery Connect will always save their progress. And you can set how long you want this test ID to be valid. It could even be for just the hour if you want. But it will save their progress, even if you need to generate a new test ID because a student has already completed the assessment. You can generate a new test ID, allow them an additional time period to take it, and it will still start them where they left off last. And that's it. That's all it takes to give the assessment. All of your scores will be auto-graded and show up here. Anything that you need to grade yourself, you can use the performance grader to do, and I'll have a different video on the performance grader for those self-graded pieces.